Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Fern in the bathtub. Ahoy!
Hello.
How are you?
Okay, I believe. Very tired.
Love how confident you are about that.
Well, you know, I'm very tired. A bit sore. So,
What have you been doing?
As this year's summer school is Olympic themed, yesterday, clearly, we had to do Olympic track and field activities. Duh. So, like, I did stuff. And so now I'm like, hey. Like, so.
Sorry.
So it's some random like, oh, I haven't tracked in a long time. Ow, what's happening to myself? Like,
Right. Haven't tracked.
Yeah, it was fun. The kids really liked it. So like, we dug out. I dug out all the high jump stands, right? So we did some high jumping onto the mats. You know,
Yeah.
that was probably one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. Was
Why?
Kids tried to high jump just because they didn't get it. I was like, I showed them how to do it, right? I was like, I think I vaguely recall how this works. So I did a couple runs. I was like, you have to jump, but you have to go over, like, they lay on your back and land on the mat, the big giant mat. And almost all of them were too afraid to do that. Like, they didn't trust that they would land on the mat. Like, I don't know why. The thing's humongous.
Well, it's
so they were all
hard.
trying to do these, like, yeah, it's a weird, it's not a normal, you know, because they think jump. So they were like diving over it and like, and that will get you to a certain height. Again, we're not jumping very tall here. Where I'm talking like 3 feet maximum. Probably less than that for these kids because they're like going into 5th grade, so they're very small. And some of them are going to 6th grade. Still, they're all very not tall people. So it was not like a high bar by any imagination. I wasn't making a jump like the 5 foot, right? None of that. But still, that like mechanical thing, they were like really having a hard time with, like the jumping off 1 foot and leaning backwards. Like they were not. They were not into that plan. So it was just really funny to watch. So that was good. I also found some hurdles. We set some hurdles up in the gym. That was funny. So I ran those couple sets of those, showed them how to do it. And then we just went outside and did like a straight up sprinting race. Right. And I think that was the last one. Today my quads are like, hey, psst. You don't do that. Why have you?
That's not what we do.
This is an abnormal. Yeah, that's not what we do. We don't do that anymore.
Like,
why did you make us do that?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
hold on a minute.
Kind of like, it's like, oh my god. So I was up on a ladder a little while ago. And like, it's like, no. Ouch.
Right.
So my legs were like, hey, you did weird things yesterday. What's happening?
Easy there, bud.
Yeah.
Easy there. Let's not.
Yeah. And then we did a shot put throw. Now I couldn't find the actual like middle school shot put balls, which are like the light ones, you know. So we did the mechanics in throwing it with just a softball. I figured that was okay. Right. But that was hard for some of them because they wanted to throw it like a softball. Their brains wouldn't let them not throw it like a softball. And because it's not heavy, there was no repercussions for doing so. Right?
It doesn't. Yeah.
Like I'm telling them, like, Yeah, there's no like. I was like, if you tried to throw like that with a shot put, your elbow would snap, just like it would just go like right.
Yeah,
Done. So, we did that. We just threw the softball, which was fun. It was good. They got to do it, and they kind of got a look at what's going on. There's a couple of kids though. I was like, I'm going to tell the coach about you for
you were
into
scouting.
grade.
You're doing some scouting stuff with them. I see.
Yeah, there's a couple. I was like, hey, we're going to talk later. Like there's one kid that threw the shot put, and I just kind of showed him how to do it, and kind of was like showing him how you push and you twist your body, and he chucked that thing, and I was like, well, hey, what's up, man? I think there's a future in this for you if So it's really funny.
That's great.
Yeah, but I had this like weird, this really strange muscle memory moment because I just got out 2 of the hurdles, right? Because we did them in the small little practice gym thing, and I set them up, and I was kind of going, oh, I think this is about where they should be, like the distance apart they should be, you know. So I don't really remember exactly stuff. And so I was like, it should be close to this. And we did it. And I was like, well, let me just see. So I ran a set, like full speed. And I was like, oh, that's pretty much exactly where they should be. Like some like deep seated part of my brain was like, yes, that was right. I'm like, whoa, that was weird.
How many? Wait, okay. Just ballpark. How many years ago was that?
That was gotta be over 20 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. So there's some part of my brain was like, yes, this is how we do this. And I was like, what? I was not expecting that. Like, I just had this weird realization moment. It's like, yeah, that was good. It's like, wait
a minute.
I don't.
Yeah. Hold on.
It was a really odd moment, like to for the thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love that. I had something similar when my boss took, this is a circuitous route to get to this. My boss took a class on how to teach kayaking and canoeing skills, and as part of that, she was given a demarcation on her score for not turning her shoulders when she had to do a J stroke. And she was like, I'm really confused by this. I don't understand what it means to turn my shoulders. I think I feel like I'm doing that. And I was like, well, I mean, when I used to do marching band, this is how we turn our shoulders. And like, I hadn't done a turn like that in many moons. And
now
all of a sudden I'm doing the glide step and turning down the hallway of my office, and I'm like, oh, this is right. Yeah, this is what this is. And I was like, you kind of got to do this with, I said, it's not just in the shoulders, right? You got to do your hips too. And you got to like, and all of a sudden I was like, man, I haven't felt this in a long time, obviously. So
I have that feeling sometimes whenever I have a similar marching band brain moment, because when I walk down the hallway, you know, you do that thing. So I'm walking like kind of close to the front of the class, and you sort of turn around while you're still walking to see everybody behind you.
Yeah.
And so I find myself doing that. I'll be like
drag step,
swivel turn, up on my toes, drag stepping backwards, and I'm like, I bet this looks really weird to people right now. Like, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then they like come down, swivel around, and go back the other way. Like, I think that's.
Yeah. Didn't know that was one of those transferable skills for later in life.
Yeah. Who knew marching band skills helpful in the hallway as a teacher? Look at that. The crossover that nobody knew about.
Nobody was expecting that one.
When you're walking grade school kids down the hallway. Kabang. So that, yeah, I have that.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes. I'm like, why am I walking on my toes right now? What is happening?
Like, oh right, I can't walk backwards and not be on my toes. Otherwise, someone's
yeah, it's really weird.
Right? Like, I will get yelled at if I do this.
I will. And then I remember, wait, I was the one that yelled.
Wait,
so
there's no one to
it's
yell
fine.
at me. Right.
I was the one who yells.
Wait a minute. The voices are coming from inside. Ah!
The voice that was screaming was my own. Right. That was
exactly. This got dark real fast. Anyway, out to recess.
It's fine. Anyway, Aaron, how are you?
Aaron.
Well, talk about anticlimactic.
That was.
Hello, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, Aaron.
Sorry, I was getting delivery for dinner because I was sitting here studying at my phone.
Oh,
no.
Sorry.
Well, as far as like week goes, work's been pretty, work. We had a meeting today, which was kind of cool, but it was all kind of, like, oh, hey, let's do this. And they're like, all right, bye. So it was really fancy restaurant in Tulsa. So that was kind of nice. And then, what else did I do? I've pretty much every day I've just been studying. I got my test Monday. I have quote unquote training all day tomorrow, all morning tomorrow, from like 9 to 12, and I'm not thrilled about that. But as far as like nothing like really like adventurous, I didn't, I saw Dad Sunday. I didn't go out and do anything over the weekend too crazy or chaotic or anything like that. But I mean, that's kind of been about my week. Really, not really a whole heaping of a lot, honestly.
That's good.
Yeah.
And right now I'm playing Breath of the Wild, so I mean I can't really complain too much. But
I thought that's what I thought. I heard that in the background there. That's okay.
Yeah, a little background. I have to keep doing like reading through like little walkthrough stuff because it's kind of like the first real game I've ever played that kind of like has like a lot of puzzles and a lot of like things to it. So I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. So okay, all right.
Okay.
So that's been kind of what is that? I don't like that. But yeah, that's just kind of how my week has been. It's been pretty monotonous and tedious. Of get done with work, like I got to study, and like I got to get this, and then like I got to go and do training here. So that's really been about the crux of my week, honestly.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
We currently have an escapade inmate from the fairgrounds on the loose for the second night tonight. So that is fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The fairgrounds buses in inmates who are on light security to do fairgrounds maintenance and stuff. And you see them out there all the time in their jumpsuits, riding tractors or raking or etc. And landscaping, a lot of landscaping work or painting. And this gentleman decided he needed to go. So he ran away, stole a state vehicle that was locked in a shed, and is now somewhere. So when I say there was a heavy law enforcement presence in town yesterday, oh boy, they were driving the right of ways underneath the telephone poles through wooded areas doing searches. They were driving on the Katy Trail, looking and searching for him. I mean, everywhere. because they had the stadies, they had state troopers, they had the county police, they had city police from the surrounding areas too, out looking for him. And they kept sending updates to everybody, being like, hey, make sure you lock your doors and don't leave firearms in your cars, pretty please. Okay, bye. And I was like, well, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. I'm very glad this is happening right now.
That's great. Yeah, way to go.
Yeah. So, things like that happening. But
there you go. Yeah.
And
we had a person of interest on the loose down here as well recently. I don't actually know if they have made his acquaintance yet or not, but there was like some dude who was like, I think he was driving like super high, like really like methed out, right? And he crashed into somebody and killed them and then like ran away. And so he was just like fleeing for several days from vehicular manslaughter, right? Or whatever. So he was just out and about, like running around. And I don't know. I haven't heard on whether or not they have captured him. I have to look into that because I forgot about that till just right now. So that's fun. He was also armed, just for fun, and he was.
Yeah. Well, and
so like,
the first place that they said to make sure you are not is, of course, the neighborhood that I am house sitting in. They were like, definitely, yeah. Oh. They were like, people on this side of the city in this area, really, really, like, double check your doors. And I was like, awesome. This is really nice.
Where I am right now. So are you house sitting, but do you have it like rigged up like Home Alone style? Like,
I mean, I couldn't say if I did.
In case.
I couldn't say, I
okay,
don't want to get too much OPSEC here.
Okay.
But
okay. It's good.
Things,
it's fine.
Things,
I mean, it's not live, so no one's going to come like fight you. That's okay.
I don't know. I mean, and I was supposed to be recording in the closet. They have a pretty big walk-in closet that nice. They just don't have a plug for my laptop there. So
I mean, yeah, that's
it's
rather
not
common to not have a
anyway.
plug-in in the closet. Is it common to have plug-ins in the closet? Is that a thing?
Only in the fancy closets.
Okay. I was gonna say, I bet new houses do. I bet new houses just have plug-ins like every 5 feet. Well,
this is a pretty new house. It's 3 years old. I think if they did an upgrade, if they did like one step up from the closet, they would have plug-ins and like their own separate vanity in the walk-in closet kind of thing.
Oh yes,
right,
that's true.
like those things.
Yeah,
this doesn't have that. So I am recording on their back patio tonight.
Hey, it works.
Literally, live and in the field.
Oh, there we go. Watch
swallows
out for bats outside.
Swallows. I have swallows overhead.
Okay. Are you sure they're not bats?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Good.
Okay. Good. That's okay.
I had to double check there for a second. We're good.
Is the flight pattern erratic? Bat.
Yes.
That's how you tell listeners. Just in case you were curious, is it when you're playing the game, everyone's favorite game, swallow or bat? If it's erratically flying, it's bat.
Yes.
If it's flying in a straight path, swallow.
Also, if it is shaped like a bat, it is a bat.
I mean, kind of at nighttime, at dusk, it's hard to tell the shape when it's up in the air flying about. So the lighting's not great. You don't always have a good solid backdrop to look at it by. It's like flying in front of the trees, and you're like, "Oh, what is that? I can't tell." So some people just think it's all bats, but no, there are in fact swallows out there.
Barn and cave.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Now, difference between barn and cave, much harder to tell while flying. So
while flying,
just know bird.
Bird.
Yeah. Bird. It's a
That's, if you could narrow down to that, I think you're doing pretty good.
yeah, that's good. So everything's fine.
Also exciting thing. Yesterday, is that yesterday? Yeah,
Don't know.
that was totally yesterday. Yesterday, we get home from the pool. I'm pulling up into the driveway in our car, and I have this thought in my head of, neither one of my kids have ever shut their finger in the car door. Man, that would suck.
Oh.
We get out of
Way
the
to
car.
put that thought out in the universe. Good job, Collin.
And all of a sudden I hear a dad, and I go, uh-oh, and I run around, and
There it is.
Lillian had shut her finger in the car door. Now, I don't know how she did this, because she got out on the right-hand side of the car, okay? But she shut the door on her right index finger. Because usually, if you jump out on the right
somebody
side,
else shut the door.
no, nobody else was
Okay.
around. Okay,
Because that happened to me the one time I got my finger to shut in a corridor. Somebody else shut the door.
So what I think happened, because usually when you get out, right, the little kids, they'll put their the left hand on the door panel, on the body panel, and then with their right hand shut the door, and their left finger will get.
I think
caught.
that's Was it yes, that makes sense.
But what
Because she would have been grabbing kind of like the thing.
Yeah, right. But what I think she did was she grabbed the door with her right hand, with her finger, with her hand around the lip, and then shut it.
Yeah. And,
right? And didn't
I think that seems plausible. Was her thumb facing down?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
that's how that's probably what happened.
It's just very odd. Not broken. She could still move it and articulate it just fine. Yeah. But obviously, cut pretty good from where the skin was pinched. Really? Yeah. So I got that bandaged up for her and iced a lot. And I found those. I went, because I realized that I couldn't just bind it with the regular gauze wrap, because it's going to come off, right? Because she's a kid. So I found those little finger covers. Have you seen those? It's like a little.
Oh yeah,
right. I'd always wondered. I'd seen those, and I was like, "What are those things for? Those are really weird." And then I'm standing in I was like, I know exactly what I have to get right now. So I wrapped it up in
now
gauze.
I know.
And then I covered it with one of those things before she went to school today. And sure enough, it stayed on the entire day.
Boom.
And she kept smelling her finger going, I smell like a balloon.
Sure you do. Okay.
Yeah. And so she did really well. I did not. Seeing her finger in the door triggered something very carnal or primitive in my brain that kind of just shut everything else out. And
well, at least you didn't grab her and yank her backwards. That would have been bad.
No, I made sure to hold on to her so she didn't try and pull herself out. But I did just but everything around me just kind of went in the background. She did really well. She was like, Daddy, am I going to have to get stitches? Do we need to go to the hospital? Do I need to talk to a doctor? And very, very considerate questions, all of which I was like, no, I think we're
Dad, am I only going to be able to count to 9?
9, right? It was like, you're going to be fine. It's fine.
Am I Frodo of the 9 fingers?
That's true.
See? Like Frodo.
Dad, am I going to be Frodo?
Am I going to be Frodo? Yeah.
Dad?
So she's doing really well, though. I'm preparing her for your finger is going to be black and blue. And then she was like, oh, like your toe. And I was like, yes, like my broken toe.
Yes. That'd be exciting.
So that was the other thing that happened this week. So many.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that, but briefly, the one time I got my finger shut in a car door, luckily it was like an older model van and it was in the back hatch thing. So there was lots of body gaps. And basically I was just stuck. Like it didn't hurt. I didn't even bruise, I don't think. I just like couldn't move because my finger was stuck in the door.
Latched in there.
And it was that somebody else had shut it and I was just like, hey, you need to open that back up. And they're like, why? And I just went, and they're like, oh, they freaked out. But I was like, I can't move right now. I'm stuck. I can't. It was really fun.
Well, that would have been nice.
So anyway, I want to hear about this door.
Oh my gosh.
This foot situation.
Yeah.
So listeners, all we got, Aaron and I got a text message and it was a picture of a black pinky toe. And all that Collin said to us was, I can't even begin to describe how this happened. And that was many days ago. And we have been waiting in suspense ever since.
I mean,
he has not told us.
I really can't. So the best that I can figure, because it all happened very, very quickly. I feel like that guy that they always interview from like Arkansas that after the
tornado guy,
through,
right? Yeah,
they're like, I don't know what happened. I'll have so fast. It just Anyway, I was trying to let a dog outside at our house, and a bulldog was trying to come inside, and
was the bulldog supposed to be? Was it part of your dogs or some random bulldog?
No, this is a dog that was supposed to be in our backyard.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't like random dogs around.
I have in the past 3 weeks, we've rescued like 4 strays around our neighborhood, so that was fun. But
oh dear,
I was trying to get this dog to go outside,
accumulating dogs,
and the dog did not want to go, so there was kind of a. But I needed all the dogs to be outside for just one moment, so we could go out, we could play, we could get water, and we could get some pictures. So everybody needed to be outside. I open the door. The dog that I'm trying to get outside kind of stops. I reach to grab for that dog. Meanwhile, I notice out of the corner of my eye, the bulldog bolt to come inside. So I stick out my foot to kind of bar the way for the bulldog. But he slams into the door so hard that he pushes the door and his body weight onto my pinky toe.
No.
Ow.
And gets inside, obviously.
It's very rude, dog. What are you doing?
I know.
Yeah.
And it's that moment where it's like, there was so much pain that I had to look like down immediately because I was afraid that I had been cut, right? Because it was so sharp and so fast that I was like,
jarring.
Surely there's blood everywhere, right? And then at first I was like, wow, there's no blood. And then I was like, wow, that still hurts. Oh my. and
I like to think Colin's response was something like, not blood. That's not better though. This is still
right. It's still bad. Right. And so I immediately ran and I got ice and I had to sit down and ice my foot I iced it for like 20 minutes. And
good call.
I still had to get photos of dogs and get them ready to go home. So I'm like limping around outside because Megan was at the pool with the kids and I'm home by myself and just getting all this stuff ready.
Oh no!
And I'm just like, oh no! But so it was really funny because it's on the same foot that I just completely obliterated my ankle last year. I don't know if you remember that, fun happy times, where I rolled my ankle so bad that it was like bruised literally from my shin to the underside of my toes. And I the next day it really started to get bad, like just like black. And Lillian was like, "Oh, it's like your ankle." I was like, "Thanks, thank you so much. I'm glad you remember. I'm glad you remember that."
Glad you remember all my trauma.
So when Lillian shut her finger in the car door, I was able to say, "Remember Daddy's toe? Your finger is going to probably look a lot like that. So it's okay because my toe's getting better.
Don't be alarmed.
Don't be alarmed. Just, changes." Oh goodness. So that was a fun last couple of days. Now
that sounds...
I just got notification to avoid a part of town because there's no update
criminal
about
on the loose.
No update about the criminal, but there is. This is that there is a trailer with hay on it that's on fire in the middle of town.
Oh no! Oh dear!
All I can think about is the Jeremy Clarkson driving the tractor trailer.
Oh, the semi truck.
Trailer up the hill.
Oh my!
So that's fun. Avoid the south side of town, just in case you're wondering.
Yes, criminals and burning hay, and definitely not related. Also, just by the way, we were totally separate.
God, no, it's totally not me. What are you talking about? Dude,
yeah, totally unrelated. God, come on, it's fine. Don't worry.
He was literally jailed for lighting hay on fire. What are you talking about? But I know that sucks because farmers obviously really rely on that and stockpile that throughout the year for the winters. So that's a no good boss.
Yeah, that's real bad. So I'm surprised they got because everybody just cut. Really, it's all baled up, ready to go.
Yeah.
It was dry. Just the last few weeks dry enough. They blasted out and got a bunch cut. So I've seen all the implementation driving down the highway. Like, oh, hay rake. Oh, another hay rake. Oh, yep, hay rake. Got it. Like, so they've been out and about doing all that all around here as well. So it's all bailed up moving, I think.
But other than that, that's I should probably round out. That's all the excitement that I have going on. Although that did I did binge watch Clarksons Farm series.
You see?
Oh my gosh!
So... Aaron, did you get a chance to watch any of that?
That's the one thing I did not get a chance to.
Okay.
Aaron has been busy with other things that it's mostly either been me watching like the College World Series on YouTube or like just stuck in like my office just like listening to music and like I must get all of this stuff done. So negative Ghost Rider. I am sorry.
Well, we'll tell you all that you've missed then, because holy cannoli, is it just the weirdest thing. Collin, I want your thoughts. I gave my brief spoiler-free thoughts last week. We'll go ahead and give some spoilers now. So, spoiler cast for Clarksons Farm incoming.
Okay,
here we go. Don't
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, don't get mad now. You've been warned duly that is now the spoiler cast.
Spoiler horn.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, before we get there, I do have some opening thoughts. The first one was, I have never wanted to run a farm more in my entire life. It's real bad.
So here's my question: Do you want to farm, or do you just want to own 1,000 acres in the English countryside?
Well, I mean, yeah, the latter would be the best. I mean, I mean, just the sheer, the sheer size, B, the diversity of landscapes, and he's got springs out the wazoo and underground World War bunkers and I just all sorts of.
It's very weird. It's very random stuff. Yeah, I agree.
Very, very eclectic. But it's obviously having 1,000 acres would be amazing. The amount of planning that goes into, his farm manager makes a lot of money. Managing, designing all of that stuff, and that would be really overwhelming to have the diversity of things and crops and things in production to try and plan and work around. But just having that amount of land to just do stuff with, right? To I'm going to plant trees, or I'm not going to do anything over there, and I'm just going to do this, or that is such a completely different lifestyle, right? Of obviously because he's independently wealthy from apart from farming. Well, so it's kind of
yes.
That's also makes this very different. Of he's making decisions and doing things just because it's cool and he wants to try it. So he doesn't have the skin in the game of what a farmer who that was their actual livelihood would have. But what I really appreciated throughout the whole thing was just two things. Every interview that I read or watched about him and this show, he was genuinely, I thought you just planted seeds, weather happened, and you harvested. And so this is a very genuine and authentic look at Clarkson learning about the ins and outs. And it's really cool to see him come to such a respect and for what farmers actually go through, especially the last episode where they put the dollars to cents on it. And they actually talk about numbers for the farm, about what they made versus what they earned. And the look on his face is just, you're like, wow, all of that for 144p. And that's it. It's oh my gosh. And that's with his subsidies from the government, and that's with all the other assistance and stuff that he was getting.
Yeah.
It's what on earth? And so I appreciate, because it wasn't just him, he did have some moments of him being Clarkson, but those as they were in Top Gear and in Grand Tour were always generally done to get a point home about something or an aspect, or to point out something ridiculous in the farming code or in the rules and regulations around things. It was, so that's cool, that he learned. And then the fact that I would never want to farm in the English countryside because of the amount of rules and regulations and oversight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The one
literally really, everything. They're actually, we have to do this. There's probably really some of that around here, right?
Oh yeah,
it probably exists, but I am ignorant of it because I don't live in that world. But yeah, some of those seem very what?
Well, the one that really drove it home to me was when they were having to do an inventory on the farm, and they had to do it by the square meter of what he was planting. And his farm manager was like, well, yeah, they're taking satellite images of the farm so they can see if we're putting it in correctly or not. And I was like, are you what?
Yeah. What? Wait, hold on. Back up a minute. You're doing what now?
Hey, I was like, there's no way. How in the earth do you get anything done? You almost have to hire a manager just to make sure that you're in compliance. And then when they had to do that farm inspection and tour thing.
Also, if he was just planting the 3 crops like he had been before, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal. But
right,
because he started doing all that random stuff.
Right. Well, and this was his first time, and it was during COVID.
That's true.
And all these things. but it was still, I think it went to highlight just how high the bar is to be certified, right? To stay in compliance, to do all of this stuff, of just the immense amount of effort and red tape that requires. And then I totally forgot about the whole, like, when he wanted to build the store, right? He had to go get permission from the council, and then they had to respond and be like, well, you have to use this kind of brick, and it has to have this kind of roof, and it has to have this kind of thing, and then he had to abide by the other, like, there's council laws, and then there's the other land laws of the land that he had to fit in just to build the store on his property.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah,
it was like,
that was very odd. Yes. Yeah, I had a similar feeling. Like, I was kind of in my line of thought was like, I don't want to farm, but I want some land to, like, do random things with. That's what it's like. Like, oh, you want to do this with your tree? Go for it. Like, that's the takeaway I had. It's like, oh man, you could just do all this random weird things, just whatever you wanted. That part was funny, and I like that part.
Right. Yeah.
Like the wilding project stuff, that was pretty hilarious.
No, see,
I mean, all that stuff.
That part, well, it was kind of interesting. How I was like, this is my wilding, and I'm going to make a trout lake. And I was like, that's an interesting take on the process. But okay. Where he basically just raised them in a bucket, and then so he could sell them to local shops later after they got a bit bigger.
Yes, you cut out there for a minute, so we missed the first half of your little rate.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, that it was the whole wilding project of making a trout pond was an interesting take on what wilding means. And he's like, oh, I'll take this natural landscape and I'll put a dam and I'll put a trout lake and pond here. There, done.
Yeah, I had some questions about that when he was like, I'm going to make it natural. So I'm going to change all this stuff. I was like, wait, that's not what the word natural means. So that whole thought process was a bit out there. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Why would you do that? Why would you do all these very strange things?
I'm going, that's not what I would do if I was going to be quote unquote wilding. However, like, I would be doing a natural prairie or planting more stream corridor or other things. But whatever.
Yeah, so I thought that was odd. Like, I don't know where the idea came from, but yeah, whatever. That's what. And also, the actual star of the show, and possibly the worst farming decision anybody could ever make in the history of the world, is having sheep. Like, what in the heck?
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh.
It's the worst. It's the worst idea ever. Why would you do that?
Oh,
I was unaware that sheep were basically just walking diseases with fuzz on them that you sheared off every once in a while to make wool. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And immediate injuries and, like, very delicate things.
Yeah, I thought sheep were hardy animals. Apparently, no, that's wrong.
Well, and that was something that again was neat to see him coming to that realization. But then again, basically going, but I don't care because I want sheep. Because again,
I'm just going to do it anyway.
His income is coming from somewhere else, and he's like, an English farm should have sheep on it, so I'm having sheep on my English farm. You're like, wait a minute.
Yes, that was pretty much the thought process behind that. Again, you're just like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay. And then, of course, Colin's actual favorite part was, Aaron, there's a guy on the show, and his name is Gerald.
I love him.
And he is like, a dude that lives in the village, I guess. And he works on the farm, and he like repairs the weird like stone wall things, you know,
the hand built stone
dry
walls.
stone.
Yeah, the dry stone with
Yeah.
no cement mixed in with them. They're just stacked.
Yeah, so he repairs those and goes around. But he has one of those English accents, one of those English like accents that you literally cannot understand a word that he says at all. Like,
No. I even
And
watched
so,
it with subtitles
Jeremy-
just to see.
yeah.
And it was like, no, it was like incomprehensible or indistinguishable, blah, blah, blah. Right. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh my.
And so Clarkson will go up and talk to him, and he'll get the first part of the conversation, and he'll just sort of stand there and be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like, he's just, this drill guy's just sort of talking. And Jeremy's like,
Uh-huh.
all right, I got to go. Have a good day. Like,
Exactly. It's so funny.
Wow.
yes.
Seriously,
Some of that's probably played up a little bit, but some of it's just like literally like, what? I understood 4 words that you said.
This of course culminated whenever they had to harvest and Gerald was in the combine and
He was talking on the walkie-talkie.
trying to give Clarkson directions on where to put his tractor
Where to drive the tractor.
Yeah, of like how far forward he was or not. It was, oh my gosh, it
was just incomprehensible shouting. Just
shouting.
Like, I don't.
Clarkson's like,
I don't know.
It's kind of like that character from Hot Fuzz, where they have to go and
Yes.
get
Sort of like
the
that.
translator for.
Yes, it's like that guy. He talks like that guy kind of. So he's like,
Oh my gosh.
And so imagine that plus walkie-talkie. You're like,
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Aaron, the show opens. The first episode of the show is basically, it sets the tone nicely. Jeremy has to buy a tractor. And he goes to the neighborhood tractor dealership. And he sees all the beautifully refurbished, like old Massey Ferguson tractors. And there's some tractors that look like Dad's little tractor out there, you know.
Yeah.
And he just goes, how many horsepower does that tractor have? And the guy's like, oh, about 45. And Jeremy just kind of looks at it and goes, ugh. And then it like cuts back to his farm and he's like, I bought this. And it's a gigantic Lamborghini tractor.
It's huge.
Oh wow.
It's
So-
enormous.
It's very
It
nice.
like doesn't fit in the barn. Like
Doesn't
it's
fit through
so
any gates. And it's an
He
ongoing
just bought it
thing.
because it said Lamborghini on it.
Yes.
Lamborghini out.
But he bought it from Germany.
But the rule, but
So,
the
like-
many labels were in Italian.
Yeah,
things
so it's
broke.
all of the labels are either in German or Italian, and it has the wrong hitch on the back because he bought it from Germany, and it doesn't work with English farm implementation. So they have to-
Wow.
this thing is gigantically huge, and so
So
like
it's
the
an
running
ongoing
joke for much of the show is just people being like, "Why is your tractor so big?" He's like, "It isn't. It's fine. Shut up!" Like,
It's so funny. It's amazing. I really like that. But yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
no,
that-
it's good. And like what I really want is a tour of his house and of his office and what he built, because that's the place that they blew up to build in
yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
rebuilt the new one.
and then they rebuilt that whole area. So it's like, I really want to see what these places are very badly.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah. Also, Aaron, there is a point where he is trying to build that little farm shop, and he has to take it to the council, and the village like votes on whether or not they want him to do it. And a lot of people initially voted no, and one of the ladies was like, "Well, one of the ladies that interviews like this old lady, she was like, we just never know what the heck he's gonna do. I mean, he blew up his own house for goodness sake."
And then it cut to May and Hammond blowing up his house. It was great. Made me
She
great.
was like, we didn't know what the heck was going on. It like shook my walls, and I was scared. So you just never can tell with him. It was kind of funny. Like,
That's adorable.
it was hilarious. They were like, he's a crazy person, and we don't know if we want him.
Oh man! And then when part of their ruling was in order for his farm shop, he could only sell items made within like 9 miles or something of
some
shop.
radius of the town or whatever.
Yeah,
because it was only to his license to sell things was for local produce.
Yeah,
that was it.
And so his girlfriend brings in like avocados and like all of these
like pineapples. Like, wait a minute, English pineapple? I don't think that's right.
It's not a thing. So
it could be a greenhouse, I guess, right? Greenhouse pineapple. I
guess.
Maybe.
I guess. Maybe. It was really funny. It was really and that too, yes. Like you could tell whenever they made that day of first sales, like he was genuinely excited about having made money from his potatoes.
Yes, from selling potatoes.
Yeah,
he was very happy about that. And I was like, "Aw, like that's great."
True, because he like planted a field of potatoes just to see what happened, and he got like thousands of pounds of potatoes, and was like,
literal tons.
What do I do with these now?
Like, yeah.
So how many episodes are there of it?
8.
8? Yeah,
it's just 8. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not too bad. I mean, that sounds, because they're like what, like an hour
like 50
each?
50 minutes basically. So
still that's really good.
You can blast them pretty quick.
Yeah, it's really good TV. Like it's genuinely interesting, and I'm not going to say educational, but it's way
that would be the wrong word.
No, but it isn't. But it is informative, right? Like it's just joy. It's just interesting and fun to watch. Yes. Jeremy, and what I like about it too, he's not full Clarkson from the Grand Tour, like full power.
That's true.
Kind of thing. Like he's
dialed
actively
back a bit.
Yeah, but he's like actively trying to problem solve and actively trying to take an interest in this, especially the episodes after, during COVID, where you can tell like, wow, like he really was locked down here because he was considered essential at that time because he had a farm.
Yeah.
And no, it's very good.
Wow.
Although that one line at the end of the episode is like, we've been stuck on the farm for like a month. And you're like, oh no, stuck on your 1,000-acre farm.
Whatever shall you do?
What a terrible turn of events has befallen you.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah. No,
how have you survived? Like, bro, come on. I was in this room right here for like months. So shut up. Get outside.
Yeah. Right. No, I didn't have pity for him. But it was it was very interesting.
Yes, I know. I was just it's like that struck me as weird. It's like, dude, come on. What are you talking about?
But like I said, all of a sudden I was like, except what I was mostly interested in of like the whole like the growing of the crops thing. I was going, man, I don't know why this is scratching a really big itch right now, but that would be really cool to be able to just to be able to do that. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but it was just like it was very satisfying to watch and got me thinking about like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to do something or farm, not maybe not full on farm, but I want to be able to grow stuff, right? Not have 1,000 acres, obviously, but
that's true.
That'd just be kind of like, I'd like that. I think I'd like.
So right? Collin's gardening project is beginning.
Well, that's what, like, I know, like a lot of like the indoor gardening stuff, like those, what are they called? Like the little, like aquaponics pods you can get. You can like grow your own little kind of things. Like those became like the small ones from like Amazon became really popular because one of my friends and his wife, they pretty much they didn't go like full self-sufficient, but that was like when it like first really hit. They're like, we're gonna grow our own like spices, we're gonna grow our own like vegetables, and like little things like that.
Yeah.
Granted, they lived in like an RV trailer because they downsized, and they're like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna grow this, and we're gonna grow this, and they have like a pretty successful little bitty garden like on the inside. So I know like little things like that became popular, and I've always wanted to do that, but I can't keep a plant alive, so I don't know how far stupid little like lettuce plant could grow. So
Only one way to find out, Aaron.
Yeah.
well, Shelby's mom is coming to visit next week to check up on like all of the plants, because Shelby has a lot of plants, and to make sure that they're still alive, which they look alive, but I sprayed before.
She's gonna send her mom for backup to make sure that.
Yeah, she's like, "How's this plant doing?" I was like, "I think it."
Aaron's going to have printed out.
I think they look fine.
Aaron's going to have printed out photos of plants put on top of the pots. She'll never notice.
I Googled how a plant is supposed to look, and I was like, "Oh, crap, that's not how that's supposed to look." Whoops! So it looks better now. It's actually it's a little peace lily. It's all a little like, it's not as droopy. So I was like, "Oh, a little the peace lily." It's like, "Oh, look how cute it is." They're like, "Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that." I was like, "Ah."
You mean it's fine? That's why.
Yeah, it's like it's how it's supposed to look.
Yeah, totally.
So,
don't worry about it.
But I pretty much there's like a thing that Shelby like would do. Like she would just take a plant. Like we have a fern somewhere over there, and she would just like fill a bathtub and just like dunk it in the bathtub.
Yeah.
But sometimes she wouldn't tell me, so I'd come like use the restroom or about to take a shower, and there was like a giant fern in my bathtub, and I was like, well, guess I'm not showering tonight. Which is like, it's good for it, and I was like, is it? It doesn't look like weird. It doesn't look very happy. Like, no, it's good for it. So I have to do that sometime this week. It's just to soak one of the plants, and hopefully the whole thing will start living again. But we'll see. Who knows?
Well, we wish you luck on your
luck with that.
plant husbandry.
Thank you. Some people need it, so we'll see.
Well, if that goes well, you can start planting lettuce and peppers, and we'll have Aaron's Farm spin-off show as well. With
well, I've always thought, well, like those little aquaponics things would be like super cool. Have like a little fish tank and grow little stuff on top. But then, like knowing me, I'll kill the fish and then I'll kill the plants, and it'll just be an endless cycle of death. So. We're not going to do a whole heap of a lot. We'll start out with and fish, and then just go from there.
Man, I like endless cycle of death. That Stoner Rock fans. That's a new album name. That's a free one right there. Take that.
Oh yeah.
Name of it.
Oh, I don't know. I think I saw them in concert in the early 2000s.
Oh man, that's good. That's a good name right there. I like it. But yeah, we'll see when Aaron starts growing peppers and lettuce and other things grow. I don't actually know.
Yeah. I mean, it got me thinking. It reminded me of just, the garden that we used to have growing up, of all of the zucchini that we would get every year and the copious amounts of corn and stuff.
Corn,
and now,
yes.
Right. Just mostly corn and zucchini is what I remember. And Mom finding like the 100th way to make something out of zucchini.
Yes.
But yeah, it was like, that wasn't. It obviously provided food. I don't know how substantial it did or didn't. But
that's true.
I had good memories of that, and have just been, I think, recently thinking about how nice that would be to have, and then watching Clarksons Farm really set me over the edge, and I was like, yes,
you over the edge there.
How much is a 45 horsepower tractor? Where do I get disc set, and how do I get?
I think you need. I think probably what you need for your backyard is a hoe and maybe a rake. And I think that will probably that will cost you probably $45 and some seed. And you'll be good to. That will definitely cost you less than $45 to buy a rake and a hoe. I'm just kidding.
True.
You could probably get that for.
I don't know.
You probably get that for $20.
I have to figure out what the wire cutter says the best hoe. Well, I have been thinking about doing raised beds on the sides of the house and in the back too, but just as a way to use that, because then you can get better soil in there.
That's true.
But then I'm like, but if it's like on the side of the house, even though it's still in my yard, I don't want like yahoos coming up and doing stuff to the plants.
Stealing my peppers.
Well, I don't know. Like some of the people that I see wandering around on the streets, I'm like, yeah, you'd take some peppers, wouldn't you?
You'd steal my onion, wouldn't you? Get out of here,
you?
Onion thief. Like,
yeah, and I just don't want to have to go through chasing down somebody for stealing an onion. So
just be Farmer Maggot chasing Mary and Pippin all the time. Hey, get back here with my friend.
Ain't nobody want that. I don't want to be that. What a terrible what a terrible name for
listen, it's on purpose. It's fine. Tolkien didn't give people names on accident.
No.
Mostly. So
maybe that's the backstory we need Disney to make next, is becoming Farmer Maggot.
Oh no. What are you doing? Get out of here. I don't know.
Oh, they are making live action versions of Snow White for 2022 or 2023. Live action version of that, and the live action version of Cinderella? No. There's already one of that. Who? Oh my gosh! I just saw maybe Little Mermaid live action. So, more fun to come from that.
That's me. No. Why?
I thought you'd all enjoy that.
Interesting.
This is terrible. I don't. Why Disney? I mean, I know why, but like, why? Why would you just
leave well enough alone?
No.
Well, they can't.
Yeah, I mean, just make. There's more. You can make more movies, like more new movies. Nobody wants
stories.
to see you make. I mean, clearly people do want to see. That's the problem. They made a couple good ones, and people went to see them, and then they were like, "Ha, it worked. We'll just make all of them." Like, no, wait, no, don't do that. No.
What if we just retell the same
much rather
7
watch like
stories?
Yeah, right. Like I would much rather see something new and interesting than The Little Mermaid again. I already have The Little Mermaid, right? If I want to watch it, I can. I could just go and watch it, right? And just, you already made that movie. You don't need to make the same movie again, which is really that gets to. That kind of goes back to our conversation from last week too about the film series thing. Like, there's a difference between a film series that tells a story and then a film series that's just another story, but it's kind of the same as the other one. I'm not looking at Fast 9 at all, any shape or form. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Obviously.
But, like, that whole thing, like, well, we'll just make the same movie, but it's again, and I'll kind of do. I also thought about that a little bit this week because I was watching. I watched some of Clarksons Farm again, and then for reasons that are not entirely clear to me, I watched. I don't know what happened in my train of thought. Like I can't really follow the thread here, and so if I can't follow the thread, there's no way you'll be able to. But just know that I ended up watching some Jackie Chan movies this week.
As one do.
As you do, right?
As it happens, sure. Okay.
I think so. I did that too. I don't know exactly. I don't remember why I did that, but I did. And I love Jackie Chan movies. They make me so. I watched Rumble in the Bronx and Mr. Nice Guy. And again, that's kind of the same movie. That's where this is going. That's basically the same movie, just like with other different things around. Because like Jackie Chan is just like a random good guy. He is in the wrong place at the wrong time. There is a warring faction between like a street gang and a like mob situation, right? Like Jackie's in the middle of it. Both movies have a scene of Jackie walking down the sidewalk carrying a bag of groceries with a baguette sticking out the top, like you do, right? Like there's a whole thing. Anyway, that's what made me think about. It's the same movie twice, but just with Jackie Chan. All that to say, if you have only ever seen Jackie Chan in an American movie like Rush Hour or Shanghai Noon or whatever, you are doing yourself a disservice because those do not even remotely begin to scratch the surface of what that man is capable of doing. And just how the films that he makes or that other like Hong Kong movie directors make, it's a completely different animal, and they're so good. Even if it's the same movie, and you're just like, I don't care. I just watch any movie with him in it, especially if it's an older one that's directed in Hong Kong, because they're just so fun to watch. Like, is there a plot? Yeah. Is it good? No. Is Jackie Chan doing something incredibly amazing? Absolutely. So he's just like
He is so good. One of the, I don't know, more underrated or underappreciated actors in everything.
I think so.
He does.
Just because the physical aspect of his acting, even his like mannerisms and his talking is so physical. And then when he's like jumping through a ladder and kicking someone in the head, it's like, whoa, what? It's even more impressive when like you think about like American movies that we could table this topic after this because we could go on about this forever probably. But like, you know, a lot of them, like they're the fight choreographers, like work out the fight and then they teach it to the actors and then they shoot it. Right. That's kind of the sequence of events that's generally happening. You know, that's why there's a lot of weird cuts, you know, and that a lot of the times the action's shot like real close and it's choppy because, you know, maybe they're not doing it right and they're not like professional stunt people. So they do these things, you know, the best they can, and you cut what you can and whatever. But they get pieced together in weird ways. If you watch like a Hong Kong Jackie Chan action movie or any of the other ones like Sammo Hung or, you know, all these guys, I'm forgetting names off the top of my head. Chow Yun Fat, like his stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of that is shot like they're on set and they just sort of figure it out as they go. But the stunt coordinators are the actors, right? Or is the director. So they're just all doing it. And like the stunt people are just the actors.
Right.
So they're just all working it out as they go, right? And so they do it's a lot more cohesive. And you get these like really big wide shots of people like fight. You can see the whole thing develop. Mm-hmm. And that's because they are actually doing it like right there in front of you. So there are a few exceptions. Obviously, there's some shots that you could definitely see like, why are they only shooting that guy from the back? Oh, yeah, never mind. But they're still shooting the whole stunt double in this way. Yeah. And so you get these big shots of like Jackie Chan just like leaping off a building. That's because Jackie Chan leapt off a building. Right? That's how he did it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You don't really appreciate the difference between those tight up close shots that you get a lot in other films versus this like almost panoramic view of the scene when you watch. And it really does like set it and makes it I don't know, I think a lot more immersive and enjoyable.
Yeah, because you can just really see all of the action happening as opposed to like a dark, blurry jump cut. You're like, I guess he hit him. I don't know what's happening. So some of those choices are made to feel like it's frenetic and it's fast paced, and others are made because, well, they didn't have a lot to work with, and then they just sort of cut around it. Like,
That's what they had.
yeah. Also, if you've never seen one of these movies, like the way that they shoot them is technically like legally impossible in the United States because like speaking of regulations, right? They'll just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna hang the camera over this thing on a ladder. We're just gonna have a dude hang over the edge on a ladder. It's fine. Like
don't
in
worry.
the United States, that's like a big nope. You got to get a crane, you got to get ropes, you got to get all stuff, and they're just like, nah, I'll just dangle off the edge. Like, oh no.
Yeah.
So the way that they're accustomed to doing things is like so wild and like freestyle. It's like, oh yeah, just tie a rope on me and I'll hang off the building. And like,
Wee.
in other places, that's not. That's literally not allowed. So, probably for good reason. But like, they're just like, nah, just go for it. So, when you watch some of those like things about like, how they're shooting the movie, that part's almost as dangerous as like some of the stuff that the stunt people are doing.
Yeah,
like, the camera operator's like doing something crazy and risky to get the shot.
Yeah, where's their award?
Yeah, not to mention the Jackie doing something insane or like Chow Yun-Fat like sliding down a rail upside down. Like, what are you doing? How's this happening? So now I might need to watch some more of those this week. Either more Jackie Chan or some Chow Yun-Fat movies because those are good too. I like those a lot. I wonder if Susan wants to watch any action movies.
I would say you wouldn't even have
Probably
to
not.
ask. You could just put them on. All she'd want to.
It's
Definitely a yes.
Yes, and when she leaves the room, I'll know the answer to my question.
She's just too overwhelmed with joy to be in the room.
Oh yes, it's too amazing. I must run away. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the other thing I did this week. Oh man. Also, things to be excited for.
Yeah.
By the way.
Okay.
Saturday, opening day of the Tour de France.
Oh yeah.
Snuck up on me.
Yeah.
Snuck up on me this year.
Well,
I didn't
because
even know
last year
until
was
yesterday.
so weird. Yeah.
And yeah, it was late, and I didn't get to watch it because it was like the tour was late, and I was at summer school, like because summer school was late, and so like there's all this craziness, and so I didn't even get to watch a whole lot of it last year. I watched like random parts, and it just didn't work out. So Saturday though, oh man, here we go, good stuff.
No, I'm excited to see it again. I missed it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The field is pretty crazy.
Different this
It
year.
is different. It's very different. And so, there's a lot of young guys who are just like, oh, like the dude that won last year, like that Poikar guy. Everyone's just like, oh, that's this guy's for realsies, and he's very serious. And it's going to be kind of nuts. And they moved because they moved. So this year they moved the tour forward because of the Olympics, right? So the Olympic cycling, they
yes,
they moved the tour forward. So it was supposed to start in Denmark, and Denmark's like, well, we don't want to do it this year because you're making it move up, so we'll do it next year. And so it's starting in Brittany this year. The Brittany's like, we'll do it because that's like lots of cycling happening there. And so the first day of the tour is like hills galore. They're like, what?
Yeah.
What? That never happens.
And did you check the weather for it? It's going to be like cold and rainy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cold, rainy,
Ew.
and hills. It's going to take a lot out of them.
Awesome.
That first
like
day,
a spring
that first
classic,
trip.
right? It's like,
No, it really is. And
yeah, the first day is going to be nuts. It's going to be like Paris-Roubaix or like Liège-Bastogne-Liège, something crazy like that.
Yeah. Well, and I was
like,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say like the first couple days like that, and there's something, and then the next day is kind of hilly too, and then there's like a time trial, and then there's a flat stage, but that stage is like projected to be like windy. So like, oh, is that going to be sprinter day, or is that going to be like crazy echelon? Everybody going to be broken in half? Like, who's going to get caught out? Because somebody's going to get caught out on those wind days. It happens every time.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, even if it's not like one of the main GC guys, one of those like kind of top 10, someone you think is going to be in the top 10, they get stuck and they get dropped because that wind just slices that peloton in half, and it's like, oh, well, they're done. They're complete. That happened to Richie-Port before, and yeah, it happens all the time. Somebody's just like whoosh, gone.
Well, and Richie's looking good this year. Actually, I think he's one of the big favorites.
Yeah, but he's on the Ineos Grenadiers, formerly known as Team Sky, literally the most annoying team ever. But they're back to, oh, well, we've got 3 leaders on our team.
Yeah.
Anytime they do that, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you can't support 3 people. You can't support, what is it?
Richie, 3 people.
Jarrett, and I forget the last guy.
Thomas is there still, and I can't remember. Yeah, I just looked at the team lineup yesterday, so I don't know everybody.
I don't remember the third person they had was their GC guy, but
they had 3 dudes.
Yeah, which it doesn't make any sense to me, because you got to have that whole team there to support and rely on each other's strengths. And what are you can't have the other guys running around 3 different riders. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
I understand why they do that. Like they go, oh, well, we're
points wise.
Kind of generally the people that do that, the teams that do that, like are like that. That means that like because Movistar did that 2 years ago, right? They had Nairo Quintana, they had Alejandro Valverde, who's like 150 years old and still racing apparently, and like Michelanda, I think, was the other one. And they were all like, oh yeah, we're doing the 3 thing. It's because they had no idea what to do. They were like, well, basically their strategy was, we're going to wait till after the first week, see where everybody stands, and then support that guy.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like. It's just like we're going to throw it at the wall after the first few days. Whoever's the highest, that
becomes a GC.
Like, yeah. So it's like, well, we got these 3 picks that we're just going to send them out there, see what happens, and then go for it.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited to see how Pogačar does with UAE. I think that's going to be
UAE not historically strong though.
No,
but like it's because they have the whole team is for him.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And that's where I feel like this year the Ineos is different, because normally they were for like, we're going to be for Thomas, or we're going to be for Froome, or we're going to be for Wiggins, right? Now they're like, we're for whoever. And so I think that opens a door for a UAE or Jumbo-Visma, right? Don't forget about them. They're like
to move up,
stacked for their dude. Yeah. And that whole team, Roglic, that whole team, they've all like, nope, it's Roglic this time. Because last year they were like, oh, it's Roglic and that Wout van Aert guy. We're going to, push both of them. No, whole team, Roglic, done. And they have some monsters on that team. So, you gotta watch out.
Yeah. Did you guys hear the fireworks in the background? The ambience? Did you hear that?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool, awesome. I think that those 2 teams are so being focused on the one GC rider is really going to be good. I know I have been hearing or reading about how some of the riders are basically, some of the lower ranked riders are that are competing in the Olympics are going to just like ride for as long as they can and then kind of stop and then go to the Olympics so they can have enough time.
That's kind of what happens during the Olympics anyway, right? There's some people have said, no, I'm really going to go hard at the Olympics because the course is really my style or whatever. And so they kind of ride into the Olympics in the tour. They kind of like, I'm just going to build my fitness through the tour and then drop out and fly over there and ride that. So
yeah, they kind of use it more as a training and warm up.
Yeah,
keep them conditioned, basically.
Yes, yeah, it's like a conditioning thing. So they're just like, oh, yep, here we go, we're all in, and okay, whatever. So
which I get. It just for the rest of the team, it's kind of like, oh well,
yeah.
But
but
have their point. They know all that going.
They also go in knowing, yeah, that's what's going to happen. They know that, well, they're going to ride to here and then stop, so, but it is what it is. So it'll be interesting to see, because the Olympics always do throw that monkey wrench in, make it tricky, make it, weird, but we'll see. I was trying to look at the Jumbo Visma squad because they're terrifying, like the dudes on his team. Yeah, they have Rodlich, Wout van Aert, Stefan Kruijswijk. Yo, that guy's great. Steph Kuss, also great. I don't know this guy, Jonas Vingegaard. Robert Hessink, amazing. Tony Martin, come on. What are you doing? Mike Tunison, yes. Like, that is a stacked team. Like, what? That's the team I'm most scared of right there. That's the one you got to watch out for this year, I think. We'll see. But I'm just excited that other teams have exciting people on them. And I don't have to watch this tour going, oh, look, it's Team Sky. There they go, winning.
Oh, you're gonna miss Froomey. Just admit it. You can say
he's there. He's on that.
He's not really
Israeli team or whatever.
He's not really, though. I mean, he's not.
That's true. He's not really, though, but he's physically there.
I know.
You know who else is physically there this year? You know who's back this year physically? It's a Tour de France.
Nick Party.
What?
Who's there?
It's Mark Cavendish.
Oh.
Again.
Well, you got to support your man. You can't just have him.
No. I hate that guy. I hate that guy so much.
I know. We've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yes, I know. I just wanted to say he's back. Andre Greipel's also back, interestingly. He had not been looking good the last couple of years, and I don't even think he rode last year. But for some reason, his form was on, so his team's like, yeah, you can go.
Jeez.
So we also have the return of Andre Greipel.
Mm-hmm. Man, Cavendish is 36.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still got the step to beetle Caleb Ewan, though. That dude's scary fast, so I don't know.
Well, and Cavendish, I don't know if he got called in kind of late to be on the team.
He did, yeah.
I don't know what kind of conditioning or training he's been up to in that interim. So that'll be really interesting to see what condition he comes in, because I don't think he's been terribly active from what I can tell.
I know he's been racing some because he's had results that they were like, oh, well, you can go, but I heard that one.
Yeah, they're coming in hot and heavy now, so I'm not under attack. There's just people celebrating the 4th of July on
celebrating
June 23rd.
Yes, June 23rd. Hooray!
Anyway,
so yeah, there's some other people on there, that sprinter list, that are kind of been tearing it up recently. So maybe, who knows? I always have to hear about him every single stage, because the announcers just talk about him every single stage and be like, oh, hey, yeah, blah, blah. If Mark Cavendish wins this one, he'll have won like 47 stages. And they're like, I don't, stop it. Just stop.
You're going to miss all these guys when they're gone. You're going to be like, oh, why can't we have Cavendish?
I know. I know.
You're not going to have
I've been watching for a long time now, so I'm kind of, yeah, it's weird that you still know that, like, I've been watching so much and like, oh yeah, it's this person. Like,
yeah. Oh, I know. It's where all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, these guys. Yeah,
you're like, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I was just gonna say, like I said earlier, it's like, oh, Stefan Kruijswijk. Like, nobody else knows who that is. Right. It's fine.
Well, we'll have to
But
get
like you get to know the like not
big
top tier
players.
guys. So that's the fun
Yeah.
part. I like watching the other guys, right? I think it's fun. So yeah,
Well, yeah,
we'll
'cause
have
you kind of
tour
watch
update next week. You watch it so long, you just kind of get familiar with all the names and you see all the same people and you get, you get
some of the guys that came on there when they were 17, 18, and by it's crazy to think 6 years later, 7 years later, they're finally moving up to GC contenders, and they're going to be there for the next 10 years. But yeah, it's crazy to think been watching the same guys bike and race for the last not necessarily 20 years, but kind of close to it in some cases.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching the at least the tour and sort of following the rest of the season sort of intermittently, depending on how I feel that year, for probably 10 years. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's right. Somewhere around there. I just sort of like watched it one time and was like, oh, I'm going to watch this today. It was like, nope, hooked forever. I don't really know what it is about cycling racing that's like so enthralling, but there's something about it that I just like am compelled to watch. Like, I don't know. It's really weird. Like, I can't really put my finger on it all the time, but I'm just like absorbed in it, like completely. Because I'll watch, like, I'll get up in the morning and just turn it on, just watch the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not always on the time trial day, but like that's not exciting. But like, I really like all the. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's like 170 people, and like just the dynamics of how everything is happening all at once. Like it's so fluid, and there's so much weirdness happening all the time. It's just very engaging, and I just really like to watch.
Well, because I mean, they're literally in constant motion for hours. Right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's the other thing about it. Of like, sure, there are some more exciting stages, and most people like to only watch the finish. But it really is there's always something going on, and there's always strategy going on.
Yeah.
Even right throughout the entire thing of all these moving pieces that I really like. That makes it really.
I think that strategy aspect, I think, is part of it, because it's like everybody's got their own thing and they're always talking about it, and like, oh, this team's gonna do this and they're planning this move or here, and like then watching those guys like make those big jumps on the hills or the mountains, right, and all that stuff. So there's gonna be some pretty cool, potentially exciting mountaintop finishes this year too. So that's gonna be pretty good. Hopefully that'll be exciting. Also, I am just in awe of like the physical capability of these people. Right,
exactly.
Like, you rode 170 miles today, and you're sprinting that fast for the finish at the end. What? You're doing what? Excuse you? Like, it's always like kind of part of me is like, wow, that's impressive that you can actually do that.
It is. It really is shocking to think about that. Of just what they put their body through. And I think that's part of it too, knowing that it's not, there's the, how to say this, in those long races, there's the physical aspect, there's the mental aspect, and then I think there's a third part of those racing that a lot of people don't consider. It's the nutritional aspect of how immensely important and make or break nutrition is, and that you have to get that nailed just right, or you're going to be done before you even really start.
You're gonna be going, and all of a sudden your body's just gonna go, nope, boom, and that's it. You're done. And you can see it happen sometimes when they get it wrong or they haven't, whatever.
Yeah.
Like there'll be dudes, they're just going, and all of a sudden the lights go out and it's over. You can just see on their face. They're just like, it's so great. But you're right. Like, it's that nutrition aspect. Like, their body's just like, I need more fuel and there's none. I'm out. Like, turn it off.
all reserves are gone and everything's just totally done.
Yeah. So I find it's during when the coverage, a lot of times there'll be a couple times where they'll just be like, oh, hey, we're going to go. Like, there's like a cutout scene, and it'll be like during a big flat part, right? do like a little insert thing, and it's like they're talking to like a team chef guy, and they're just talking about like what is in that little musette bag and like all the stuff they make. It's so crazy because like every team has like, you're right, they've strategized what food they're eating and sort of it's crazy. Like,
yeah, exactly. How they're going to, when they're going to get what they want in the musette bag, how they're going to have them spaced apart. All that stuff is just, it really is a science. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, it's so crazy. They're like, oh yeah, today we're having these foods because the stage is going to require this much energy. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh, wow.
It is really
like the exact most out of every calorie, right? Like, boom. So,
yeah, and fine-tuned for each person for how they process what, and their burn rate and what their job is for that day. It just, it's really again, all these moving pieces, both on screen and off, really make it very exciting to then sit back and go, wow, it's just insane.
Yeah, it really is. It's really nuts. So, and it's just such a big production and like crazy, and there's all the team cars and all the mechanics and the doctor guy. Like, there's always those crazy shot of like a mechanic like dangling halfway out the car, like adjusting a derailleur while the bike's moving. You're like,
those are sweet.
What
Those are so cool.
Holy cow, man, that's crazy. Guy's a Hong Kong camera operator in disguise. Like, he's just like hanging out the window with a little screwdriver. Like, I was hanging a curtain earlier today. I dropped that screw like 75 times. Like, can you imagine like this bike is going on the road and you're like, yep, I'm just gonna tighten that with my screwdriver. Like, no, I would drop that thing.
Yeah,
so
that's
fast.
not happening. Nobody's not happening.
It's crazy. So that's always. Yeah, it's always nuts. Like, just all those like random parts, and those guys driving the cars are crazy, and like the mechanic guy. And, oh man, it's just nuts. Like, so I'm excited this year, because I actually get to watch it this time. So I missed it last year, and I was sad. So it's back. Haha. So
yeah,
I'm excited for Saturday morning.
Me too. So we will report back on that. Aaron, you need to report back on Clarksons Farm, and
yes,
we will go from there, guys.
Alrighty.
Okay, well, love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.